How's it going, everybody? Melania Blade of Mikola here. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, do we have a fantastically terrible video by Harman Smith to go over. Well, a terrible video by Harman Smith as well as an absolutely abysmal community post, because we're going to be going over that one. And dear God, it is... I mean, let's be fair here, okay? We already know who Harman Smith is. I've at least made one video on him, and his terrible video to try and claim that Go Woke, Go Broke is an actually real phenomenon, when in reality it is just a huge cackle fuck of just, like, random chuckle wits that apparently just have no idea what the fuck they're even talking about, and they see everything that they don't like, usually just ranging from minorities as, like, woke garbage, and that is going to fail, and then they're shocked and surprised when it ends up doing well because it's part of, like, a big IP or some random bullshit like that. But we have two different things here from Harman Smith, and we're going to start off with his terrible community post, because that is just absolutely vile, and it makes me sick to even think about it, because this man is just genuinely fucking delusional. And it's amazing that he hasn't deleted this yet, or YouTube hasn't even taken it down yet, because not only is it terrible, but he tries to include, like, some sort of weird conspiracy theory bullshit into it very subtly. And yeah, it's kind of bad. I don't know if it was, on accident, maybe he just doesn't know what quotation marks are, or if he actually did this on purpose and he's genuinely just someone that we should all just point and laugh at. But yeah, let's get into this one. Let's start off with the community post here from Harman Smith, where he states, "Thoughts and prayers to all the victims of heart issues in like 17 different fucking parentheses around the world." Now, if you guys don't exactly know what the whole using parentheses in place of quotation marks thing is, well, just look up Jewish echoes, and yeah, you'll understand why it's absolutely sickening that he's even throwing this in here. But yeah, absolutely fucking disgusting that he's deciding to mock someone's death, and also potentially include some sort of weird, like, almost, Third Reich type conspiracy theory into this shit. So yeah, yikes, dude. But now we're going to be getting into a video, so that way we can move on from something vile to something that is genuinely laughable, and that is his video titled, "Every Game Not Made by Nintendo is Game of the Year 2023, which is very stunning coming from him. Usually he's someone that rides the cock of Nintendo until it's raw and broken, but apparently, here he is in the title, basically going like, oh my god, I've had an epiphany, but I guarantee you it's probably just a bait title. But on top of that too, this man once again records vertically. I'm assuming once again this man has absolutely no idea how the shorts function works, and thinks that this is going to become a short. Spoiler alert, fucking dumbass, it's not becoming a short, and you just awkwardly record it at a vertical angle for literally no other reason, but at least it's better audio and visual quality than your regular ass videos.
Every game that is not from Nintendo is Game of the Year this year. That seems to be the consensus among the vast majority of the gaming media. I've seen no end of posts from, YouTubers that nobody cares about how this is a great year for gaming, and there's a number of titles that could theoretically win Game of the Year.
Well, first of all, I find it funny that he's bringing up YouTubers that nobody cares about, and yet he decides to bring them up, because clearly he does care about their opinion to the point where he's willing to bitch about it within a almost 5-minute long video that is recorded vertically, and it's going to make it a pain in the ass for everyone involved. Hell, I've probably seen a lot more people claiming that, Tears of the Kingdom is worthy of getting Game of the Year than something like, say, even Baldur's Gate 3, which is, a game that I believe is still decently popular, though I haven't really heard much of anything new about it. I don't know. Some things just kind of come and go really quickly, and that's just the unfortunate way of things.
You have Armored Core 6, you have Hi-Fi Rush, you have Final Fantasy 16, Street Fighter 6, Diablo 4.
I like how he's listing a few of these games, and from what I've heard about, like, at least 2 of these main games, there is no way in hell that they're going to be winning fucking Game of the Year. I'm going to first bring up Armored Core 6, okay? As someone that has recently gotten, like, into Elden Ring and absolutely fucking loves Elden Ring, from what I've heard of Armored Core 6, the bosses suck so much fucking ass that literally no one actually enjoys it. No one enjoys the bosses. People enjoy more of, like, fighting against other armored cores. The moment that they reach any boss, they feel like immediately hanging themselves like it's a fucking 1500s, okay? Like, people do not like the bosses in Armored Core 6, and if FromSoft doesn't actually, think about fixing any of the bosses to actually make them, good bosses like what FromSoft is known for, then, yeah, Armored Core 6 is in no way, shape, or form gonna win Game of the Year. I am putting my foot down on that one right now, and that's coming from someone that loves Elden Ring. And I've even looked up some of the Armored Core bosses and some of the guides on them. Literally, for one of them, the one fucking guide for one of the bosses is literally just spam, dodge, and pray. You know that if that's a tip for one of your bosses, then that means that you fucked up on boss design at some point. Like, dear God. And Diablo 4, I didn't even know that there was a fourth Diablo. There was a fourth Diablo game? I thought that Diablo Immortal was like going to be the last thing that they make. A nice little, middle finger to send off the Diablo franchise, but I guess there was another one. And yeah, I've looked up some things about Diablo 4, and it's pretty mid, so yeah, that one's definitely not going to win. But at least Hi-Fi Rush, that one at least has a pretty decent fighting chance, although, who really knows?
And then among this crowd of mediocre games, you have Zelda, right? Like, one of these things is not like the other, right? Like, Zelda is shoved in with all of these mediocre games as if it's not that, like, culturally significant, as if it's not that big of a deal.
I like how he immediately comes to the conclusion that it's a negative thing that Legends of Zelda is being put in with a bunch of these games that he considers mediocre. In my personal opinion, I would think that as, like, a positive thing, because then that would mean that Legend of Zelda is, like, somewhere considered among, like, these other games that people consider to be absolutely fucking phenomenal, right? Like, that would be my thought process, but of course, once again, this man is intellectually and physically balding, as we can see right here, right before our eyes.
As if it's not blatantly better than everything else that came out this year. And yeah, that is, I stand by what I said a couple of weeks ago in that YouTube short, where I stated where it feels like everyone is throwing every single game at the wall, trying to get it to be popular, trying to get it to explode, trying to get there to be some kind of debate over over what should be Game of the Year, when like everyone already knows. Anyone who's actually played it will tell you it's Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
Well, once again, a lot of the people that are throwing in all these other games alongside with Tears of the Kingdom have played Tears of the Kingdom and know that Tears of the Kingdom has some fighting to do against some of these other games that are really fucking good. Once again, this is what happens when you only play one type of fucking game your entire life, and you end up like this man right here, probably living and recording all of his videos within his parents' basement, from what I'm seeing.
Like, right now, it just kind of feels like people are desperately flailing around, trying to get something else to be talked about, trying to get something else out there. And it really does feel as if the only reason they're doing this is out of some petty contempt for Nintendo.
Well, let's be fair here, that could very easily be put, like, right back onto you, because you making this video comes across as you flailing around and flopping like a fucking fish out of water, trying to make your case that anything that isn't made by Nintendo isn't good, and that Nintendo's shit doesn't stink, and, like, you're just going around and, like, screaming like a fucking raving lunatic that Nintendo is king, and that Nintendo is good at making literally fucking anything, and that all other games are inferior. Like, it comes across as you being extremely desperate in an attempt to try and, like, delude yourself into thinking that Nintendo is the only company that makes anything good.
They don't want to talk about the great games that Nintendo's putting out. They don't want to acknowledge that Zelda is the best it's ever been and is a major innovator when it comes to the open 3D space right now, like the open 3D world right now. They don't want to admit that Zelda is doing things that other developers can't do. They don't want to admit that there will never again be a time in which other developers can compete.
This is starting to sound like some sort of fucking, like, militaristic propaganda. There will never be another time in which Nintendo will be absolute king, when in reality Nintendo has, like, released, like, one good game that I can think of off the top of my head throughout this entire year, and has done sweet splendorous fuck all for the rest of it.
I don't want to admit that, like, games on more powerful pieces of hardware cannot do the things that Zelda is doing.
I'm sorry, I'm going to have to fucking call bullshit on that one. Like, sweet cap, the likes of which no one has ever seen. Because, listen, okay, the Nintendo Switch is nowadays literally fucking inferior to, like, literally fucking anything else at this point. Nintendo Switch severely needs a fucking upgrade if it really wants to have access to other games at this point, because there are way too many good games that will just never be able to run on Nintendo Switch, because they're way too high fidelity for the Nintendo Switch to properly, like, you know, run at any level of quality. Like, I'm sorry, but there are in fact games that do in fact run on much more powerful hardware, that are in fact better than, Tears of the Kingdom. I hate to break it to you. There are in fact things that are in fact better than your special little boy.
I don't want to admit that. They are doing everything they possibly can to try and downplay this game. Trying to bury it, trying so they can write it off, trying so they can ignore it. And they've been doing this for a long time, you know, since Breath of the Wild, since Skyward Sword. Like,
once again, as is common with Harman Smith, I'm gonna have to ask for a source. Hang on, let's quickly check the description. Is there a source? Ah, yes, the source is Sweet Splendorous Fuck All, that's what it is. His sources are whatever the fuck this is, as well as links to his shitty books. So, yeah, where's your fucking source, buddy? I don't see it. I don't see a source. All I see is a raving lunatic trying to make random claims without any evidence.
it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter what genre it is. It doesn't matter the developer. It doesn't matter the quality of the game. It doesn't matter the Metacritic score. It doesn't matter how much a game sells.
Okay, I think I know what he means when he brings out the Metacritic score here, and that is, of course, when he was, like, comparing the Metacritic scores of Baldur's Gate 3 to Tears of the Kingdom, and, like, Baldur's Gate 3 had, like, literally 1 point lower on the score than Tears of the fucking Kingdom. Literally, like, the difference between it, like, I think, like, Tears of the Kingdom was, like, at 100, and Baldur's Gate 3 was at a 99. That's the fucking difference, and he apparently is, like, celebrating that as if it's, like, the most colossal difference of all fucking time. Like, this man is so fucking deluded that he will see any percentage of a difference and immediately start jacking off to it as if it's, like, the best thing that he's ever seen.
What it comes down to is, like, no matter what happens, no matter what the situation is, everyone always pretends that Nintendo cannot compete with third parties, cannot compete with, like, PlayStation, cannot compete with PC, when in reality, it's those companies, the third parties, that cannot compete with Nintendo.
Actually, they all are competing with one another. It's just that sometimes Nintendo just doesn't fucking win. Yes, Tears of the Kingdom is good from what I've seen. It's like fucking, it's literally just like open world Gmod from what I've seen, and that sounds fun as fuck. However, the thing that really holds it back is the fact that it's limited to only one fucking piece of hardware. Exclusives fucking suck, I'm sorry.
Right? Like, Nintendo's library of titles is so large and so expansive that I absolutely refuse to believe that anyone could be, like, not interested in playing any of it. Right?
Expansive my left ass cheek. Have you seen what PC has access to? And that's not even counting the games that you can emulate. You are so fucking deluded.
Like, if you don't like Nintendo, if you don't respect them, you simply don't like video games.
I'm sorry. We're gonna have to end it right there with that fucking statement right there. You don't respect video games if you don't like Nintendo. Okay, I am fucking sorry about that one, but I guess in this case, I just do not like video games because I have very little respect for Nintendo and its fucking shitty practices, man. Like, they are pretty much, like, only slightly better than Bungie, but even still, they suck ass, alright? I'm sorry. Like, Jesus fucking Christ, that is such a bold fucking claim that just gave me fucking whiplash. We are done here. We are done right here. That's it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed today's video, please consider leaving a like. That's very well appreciated. Leave a comment down below what you thought about the video, what you want me to talk about next. And also go ahead and subscribe to the video if you're new and you want to see more content such as this. Also go ahead and follow me on Twitter. That's always very well appreciated. And yeah, anyways guys, this has been Sanity. And have yourselves a nice day.